Welcome to the first interview special of the Deleted Scene podcast. If you don't know the show, we're a gaggle of London-based creatives who just talk about movies and TV and general pop culture-y things. As well as that, we want to talk about web series and filmmaking because we are filmmakers, and we want to talk to other filmmakers and creative types and YouTubers and such, and hopefully interview them over the coming weeks. We only started about a month ago, so we're very new, but this is the first of our interview specials. This was recorded live at MCM Comic-Con in London, during the Vidfest section. So we went around Vidfest and interviewing as many people, as many web series and YouTube creators as we possibly could. If you want to know more about who we are and what we do, then listen to the main show. The main show goes out every Wednesday. These specials go out every Friday. So there's a few episodes up now that you can go and catch up on. The first episode was Marvel vs. DC. There's a sister episode to this one, which is a live recording at Comic-Con. So you can check that out anywhere that you can find a podcast. We're on SoundCloud, and we've got a Facebook for the Deleted Scene Podcast and a Twitter at Deleted Scene Pod. And we chat on there as much as we can, and we're sort of building up an audience, and we're just working to make this something really fun and hopefully that people will enjoy. But anyway, these Friday episodes are purely for interviews, and as I say, this is a collection of interviews that we did at Vidfest at Comic-Con. It's a random assortment. I think there's like 10 or 11 different interviews in here, so I'll put the timecode stamps will be in the description, and you can skip and find the people that you want to hear us talking about, or so on and so forth. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of mini interviews here. I'll prefix each one with a little introduction, but I won't bother one too long because it's going to be quite a long episode anyway. I hope you enjoy. There'll be links for everyone in the description, all the people that we talk to. And as I say, subscribe to us and check us out. We're going to be talking to more filmmakers and creatives and just trying to talk more about independent film and filmmaking in general. I'm probably repeating myself. I'm wasting loads of time. So let's get to the point. First interview up. On our second episode, our Halloween episode, we reviewed Mina Murray, the Mina Murray's Journal, a new web series about a video blog version of Dracula, which was about halfway into the series at the time that we interviewed it. The series is finished now, so you can go find that on YouTube. But we re-interviewed them. I'm going to put them up front first, seeing as we reviewed their series and we know them a little bit. So our first interview is with James Moran and Rosie Holt for Mina Murray's Journal. Take it away, me from Comic-Con, who had a terrible cold and was probably really quite doolally during the recording of this. But, you know, that's fine. So I'm here with James Moran, writer, director, editor, creator of Mina Murray's Journal, and Rosie Holt.
Hello.
Who is the titular Mina Murray. I can't remember if I said either one of those words will work, and I'll edit it so that I said the correct one. Yes, so you're here at Vidfest. Brand new show, so you've not been here with the show before.
No.
First Vidfest, perhaps?
For me, yes. Yeah, first one. It's great. I love it.
It's my first Vidfest. I've done MCM before, but Vidfest didn't exist.
Oh, okay.
Now I feel like I'm 93 or something. It wasn't
You're
even that long
only
ago.
84.
I know. But I look 82. So it's my first Vidfest.
Are you enjoying it so far?
Yes. It's quite mad. There's lots of people and lots of outfits, and it's very, very loud. And they keep playing the Game of Thrones theme tune over and over and over again.
They do. We've commented on that already.
Which is not so getting tiring at all.
Yeah. So, give us the Mina Murray pitch. Go for it.
It is a web series. It's a vlog adaptation, or a vladaptation, of Dracula. And it's told from Mina and Lucy's point of view. And it's in the present day. And it's told through vlog formats. Have I said vlog enough times? A vlog. Vladaptation.
Vladaptation.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Hashtag Vladaptation.
Hashtag Vladaptation.
You have to do that. So we are, this series has got 2 more episodes left. One went out this morning, you said, and then there's 2 more to go.
It's hot off the presses this morning.
And then season 1 is completed. Is that exciting?
I keep nodding. I keep forgetting that you can't see me nodding.
It does feel like we're on camera. Everyone I've interviewed, like, sort of acts up for the camera.
We are being photographed, though.
You'll need like an audio description.
Thing,
James is now nodding.
So, how did the show come about, James?
I had the idea a few years ago, and I didn't do anything with it because sometimes you have an idea and you think this is either a great idea or it's the worst idea I've ever had. So I didn't tell anyone because I was scared. So I didn't do anything with it, and then I finally wrote it up, and I did the full script and did the big pitch and everything, and I still didn't show it to anyone for ages because I still kind of thought it's a bit weird, it's a bit out there. And then I gradually started showing it to a few people and put a team together. And
was the intention for the
found
web?
some wonderful actors, but they were busy, so I got Rosie instead.
He's making a joke because I was always #1 choice. Yeah.
You are actually.
Yeah.
Was the intention always to go web route, or?
Yes, I mean that was like the initial idea was just what if I did a vlog web series of Dracula, present day. That was literally all I had, because, and it was one of those weird things where I was like, well, the book itself is written in diary and newspaper format, so wouldn't that be funny to kind of tell it in vlog format, because it's kind of the same thing. And it was just like, it was just too silly to be a real good idea, so that's why I sort of left it for ages. Rosie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll ask you some questions, don't worry. So is this the first time, right, by both of you, working on a web format show or a YouTube show? I mean, obviously you've done film and television work, but how much experience do you have on the YouTube side of things, as we are here?
What, a YouTube show?
YouTube shows and just general online content.
Yeah, I've got a YouTube channel where I put various silly things on, and I've been in various. God, do you know, I can't remember. It's all a blur. Basically on so many things, but yeah, I'm on various things on the internet floating around. Some which people shouldn't probably see. It's not great like this one is. But
Less
yeah.
professional, let's say.
Yeah, or, you know, but yeah, I'm all over the place in a good way,
Okay.
controlled way.
Rosie all over the place Holt.
Yeah,
That's your middle name.
but creatively all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like a rash.
Yeah, a creative rash.
Creative rash.
It's a rash.
What
It's
that
the
is.
rash you want to get.
Yeah,
Great. Rosie Hope, she's the rash you want to get.
yeah,
That's
right.
going on your
That's
website.
My tagline.
You can have that
on
for free.
Yes, thank you. I've been waiting for a tagline.
Brilliant. How about you, James, on the online? Do you have a rash?
I
No,
did a
mean-
web series back in 2009, before Vidfest, before all the UK web series stuff, before all the YouTubers, before YouTubers was
the
a
beginning,
thing.
You were the Adam and Eve of web series.
I was the Adam and the Eve of web series, and yeah, it was a weird time because there was nothing really on like that at the time. And it did really well, but we couldn't get anyone to fund the second series or to sort of fund another web show because there was nothing really like that around. So it sort of came and went, and I thought, right, I'm never gonna do another web series ever again because there's nothing. And then when I had this idea, it just seemed perfectly designed for the web. And luckily, there was a massive UK web scene at the time, so
Yeah, it must be quite
it
a
was
jump
the right
then.
time. Yeah.
Quite a jump, because there's a huge area in Comic-Con of all places where it's all about YouTube and web series. That can be.
It's crazy. Like it was such a wasteland back then. Back then, in the old days, in 2009.
Don't forget he's 82.
Yes.
Yes. So the show, we've reviewed the show on our second episode, our Halloween episode. There's only 5 episodes in at the time, and we're hoping to review it again for the next one. But obviously season 1 is coming to a close now, but there's a lot more of the book to cover. So is there excitement, or are we looking towards season 2 already, or do we think?
Hopefully.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
we'll be recasting, obviously, because you know this is just
All
like
the other people.
just
Only
like
Mina
a
Murray was the good
temporary
one.
cast.
Rosie can play all the parts. Just get a range of wigs.
You want to replaced with Kirsten Dunst next time.
We'll see how series 1. If people watch series 1, and it does well, then that would be great. I really want to do a series 2. I'd probably like do series 2 and 3 back to back, and then release them separately. But yeah, they will be a lot bigger in scale, so series 1 will need to do well and
This is
will need
almost
to be
a
watched.
teaser then.
It's not a teaser. It's just like, I mean, you know, if you've read the book, you know that it's a slow build. So the first sort of third of the book, there's not a lot of overt vampire action. There's some very, very scary stuff, but it really ramps up later on in the book. So if we do get to do series 2/3, then it'll need to be a lot bigger.
So you have a panel coming up in about an hour, I think. Less than an hour. Excited about that?
Yes, we're just hoping people turn up to the panel. Although we are, luckily, we are in between 2 other extremely popular internet personalities. Where Tomska is on before us and Sammy Paul is on after us. So we're the
Right.
with a jam in a Tomska
So
sandwich.
hopefully someone will have come to Tomska, fallen asleep,
Yes.
and then wakes
Or-
up during our panel and goes, this is amazing.
Or put up the
Yeah.
barriers so that the Tomska crowd can't
No,
leave.
they can't leave. It's a good idea.
And like, you're in now.
Or when his one finishes, just go, stay in your seats for semi-ball in half an hour.
Yes. Or just immediately start. As soon as he stops talking, run on the stage and just start so they haven't even
Yeah,
got time to
yeah.
think.
If you like Tomska and semi-ball, well,
We're in between.
we're in the middle of those and are nothing like them at all.
Also, I find a good way to get an audience is to create a hostage situation.
That's how I've got most of my stuff made in the past.
Come in or I'll stay or I'll kill the bunny sort of situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Good work.
And if that doesn't work, then I'll just threaten the audience with.
A machete.
Nice siren there.
I love that police siren. It's not annoying in the slightest, is it? It's really good fun.
So Rosie, how have you found working on the show?
Yeah, loved it. Yeah, it's been really, really good fun. I mean, I love the original story anyway. I think I studied it at university. And I loved vampires anyway. But what I liked about this one is what I found very interesting about the original book was the treatment of its female characters. So, Lucy is sort of a bit flirty and all over the place, and ultimately gets bitten, and then, well, I mean, I don't want to spoil the book for people who haven't written it, but and then all the female vampires in the book are kind of like really sexy, but in a bad way, and Mina has this guilt when she's bitten, and there's all sorts of a weird attitude to women and women's sexuality in the book, and so I quite like how James has kind of put the emphasis on the women and made them strong and confident in who they are. And Mina's a confident bisexual woman, which I think is a great way of reversing the sort of shame that Mina feels in the original book. But yeah, it was great fun, really fun to do, and really great cast. James was problematic, but I'm a professional.
That's my middle name.
I'm a professional at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think attitudes towards bisexuality were a little bit different back then. Given that, like reading the book, it's like, oh my god, the worst thing has possibly happened. She's been bitten by a vampire and she's gonna be bisexual. Oh no, this is a disaster. So hopefully this will sort of redress the balance a little bit.
No, it's good one adaptation because the book is very sort of diary format and things like that, so it's more
Yeah.
of an update. Makes sense.
Yeah. I'm not I'm not dissing the book. It was
Oh,
written
no.
over 100 years ago. Attitudes
Totally
were
dissing the book.
very different. Attitudes have changed
Rubbish, isn't it?
somewhat
Rubbish
since
book.
then.
What, they say this is a classic? Screw that.
Well, I wouldn't have adapted it if I didn't like the book. But attitudes were different, and there was a lot of discussion and thought about who a woman is going to marry, which man a woman is going to marry, and things are thankfully not like that anymore.
Mina has a job and everything. She's allowed to have a career.
Yes.
In this world now.
Yeah, she's allowed to have a job.
Yeah. It's always a good step forward, I feel.
Yeah, and she can type stuff for herself, not just for her husband.
Yeah. Yeah, girl power.
Yeah, typing stuff for yourself.
So obviously you know the book. How much research, perhaps you both, did you have to do regarding video blogs themselves? Was that a new something new that you had to learn how to format that?
I'd been watching stuff before I had the idea, because I just sort of I was cleaning up my own YouTube channel to sort of put some like Q&A videos up there. So I was just sort of starting to do some research and see what was out there and what people might want to see. And that's when I discovered that YouTubers were this enormous thing. Because if you're not into that whole thing and you don't know, then you've never heard of them. And then you go online, you're like, who are these people? And they're mega famous on YouTube and have these massive followings. And so it's like a whole kind of secret world. But then you go into it and it's crazy. So I did watch a lot of stuff, and because I was kind of originally like, right, it should look really sort of homemade DIY, but then I watched a lot of vloggers now, and some of them are like 18, 19, and their production values for their vlogs are better than some feature films I've seen in the cinema. Like they've got amazing lights and amazing cameras, and I'm just like, how have you got this? So yeah, so it's just like kind of just being aware of how things have changed, and the kind of the approach and the feel and the style and the jump cuts and all that kind of thing, and just kind of trying to make it feel like it fit into that world.
Yeah. Well, I first became aware of vlogging, I'd say about a year and a half ago. So I was dating a YouTuber, and he was really obsessed with the whole idea, and also he suggested I try it. So I sort of done one or two, and yeah, it's crazy how it's taken off, because it's basically people talking about themselves, and some that I've watched are very personal. There's this, I can't remember any names. There's a vlogger who I was watching, and he did one where he's got loads of followers, but he got dumped, and he uploaded this vlog, and he was like, I'm just going to talk through my emotions about being dumped, and I feel like this, and I was like, whoa, this is so kind of personal. So it's interesting. It's because in my day when I was growing up, we didn't have anything like that, and it's.
Rosie's 81.
I'm also 82.
Back in my day.
I'm 82.
During the war.
During the war.
People had to shout their emotions out the window.
Yeah, you did. Listen to me, which is actually how I work as a person anyway. Yeah, I think the whole vlog concept is very interesting.
It's a whole new world of entertainment, essentially.
Yeah.
It's a bizarre little subsect of, because if people are watching it as religiously as they watch television, then what's the difference at the end? It's entertainment is entertainment.
Yeah, well, and using yourself. I mean, so I do stand-up comedy, and stand-up comedy is quite personal, and that obviously you're shamelessly mining your own life and experiences, but you're still, you're exaggerating and you're putting on things. And vlogging is kind of the next step, really. It's even more cut down and personal, because it's just you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, to wrap up, where can they
Yes.
find you online on the interwebs?
You can find us online at minasjournal.com. You can find us on Twitter at minasjournal, you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/c/minasjournalseries. And you can find me on Twitter at James Moran. You can find Rosie on Twitter at Rosie is a Holt. And you can find Liam online, if you've heard of Liam. You probably haven't.
Liam?
He's very new. He's at Liam Dryden. Is that right?
Liam Dryden, ETC.
We actually didn't talk about the Twitter. The Twitter's worth talking about, because you have characters' Twitters going on.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you run those, or are you involved in them, or is it something?
No, that is.
Just a thing that happens.
No one runs them.
Yeah, Mina does her own
Mina
tweets.
does
She's
her
real.
own.
Oh.
No, that is my other exec producer, Kat Davis, and me. And so we're basically, at the moment, we're kind of living our lives through Mina, Lucy, and Jack.
It's quite cool. I was
Which
quite into
is,
it.
yeah, so Mina, Lucy, and Jack have Twitter. Mina has Instagram. Lucy now has Spotify. So we're basically just like taking photos and tweeting and going to things as them. It's really weird. It's really bizarre.
Taking over the internet.
Yeah.
It's like just a bunch of fake people on the internet.
Yeah. But it's weird then if you do a tweet as Mina and then Rosie likes it and retweets it, and it's like, what is real?
What's real anymore?
Who am I?
It's very interesting because I started following it, going like back catalogue of it, all the conversations and everything, and it's really interesting marketing idea.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how many sort of new people it draws in, but I think just for people who are watching the videos already, it just kind of gives them a little extra kind of bit of layers and stuff. Especially with the video that went up today. It's a Jack's vlog, and he's finally revealed Renfield's website on Tumblr.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we were wondering about that on the
So
show.
yeah, so there's oh, I spoiled it. I've ruined it. I've ruined the show. So I've having to update a Tumblr website for several months
Right.
as well. And
Putting a lot of effort in now at this point.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of
Your
effort.
whole life.
Yeah.
Several lives and
watch the show.
personalities.
Because it's taken over my life for several months.
Well, finally, for our show, we are trying to find the worst film ever made, so we're asking for suggestions.
The worst film ever
Suggestions
made.
on the worst
oh
film
God.
we've seen.
It's just the thing. I know a lot of people watch films and they go, "Oh, it's so bad, it's good and it's fun." But I can't really do that because I start watching it and I go, "It's just bad." And you get 10 minutes in and you're kind of like, it's not funny anymore. I'm just watching a terrible movie. So there's very few films that I kind of enjoy on a bad level. I mostly just watch stuff and enjoy it anyway, even if other people go, "Oh yeah, it's terrible," and I go, yeah, it is, isn't it? Because I have a thing about I don't have guilty pleasures. I just like things unironically, even if other people think they're awful. So I don't think I have like a bad movie that you can enjoy, because I just tend to not enjoy them.
You don't have to enjoy it.
I don't know. I mean, everyone says like Plan 9 from Outer Space is the worst film ever made, and I don't know. I think I've seen worse. I think I've seen worse recently than Plan 9 from Outer Space. That's another one where you start watching it and it's funny for 5 minutes and you go, "This is just bad. It's just a bad film." Bless him. Bless Ed.
What favourite bad film?
Yeah. Or not favourite bad film, but just the worst film you've ever seen. If you
Worst
would
film
say.
ever.
Favourite bad film works as well, though.
Worst as well.
I've seen a lot of bad films. Well, I don't know. I mean, I told you before that I do have a soft spot for Howling 2, My Sister is a Werewolf. So it's got this great bit in it where Christopher Walken goes, "I'm afraid your sister is a werewolf," and he goes, "God damn it, that's my sister you're talking about." But I also think that film's kind of wonderful.
That's a great Christopher Walken impression, actually. That's probably the best I've heard.
It's not Christopher Walken, Christopher Lee, sorry.
In which case, it was a terrible
Yeah.
Christopher Lee impression.
Whatever. I don't care. No, but I went. The Ugly Truth is awful with Katherine Heigl.
Okay.
Okay.
It's the most misogynistic film. It's written and directed and done by women, but it's the most misogynistic film I've ever seen. It made me really angry.
Okay.
Actually, I remember the first film I ever walked out of at the cinema when I was a kid, and my local cinema, it was £1 a film, and I went to see Silver Dream Racer starring David Essex, and it was so boring I walked out, but the cinema manager used to lock the doors so people wouldn't sneak in, so I had to go and ask to be let out. And he was like, "Is the film still on?" I was like, "Yeah, my mum needs me to go and do shopping," so I had to lie to get out of a £1 showing of
He
Silver
didn't
Dream
make
Racer.
the film. You could have told him it was rubbish.
I felt bad. And it was because it was £1. It was like, why don't you just stay there? Like, because I had nothing else to do. I literally was just going to walk home and do nothing.
Fair enough. All right. Well, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you for watching and reviewing and everything.
Yes, no problem at all. All right. Lovely talking to you.
See you in hell.
See you in Wasn't that fun? Maybe? I don't know. But if it was, you should check out Mina Mo's journal on YouTube and such like. And there's this whole plethora of online material that they've created. Next, coincidentally, we interviewed Matt Hargreaves, who's actually in Mina Murray's journal, but he was representing Eddsworld. Now, you probably know Eddsworld, very well-known animated show on YouTube. It's been going for a very long time, so it doesn't really need an introduction from the likes of little old me. So we'll skip that and get straight into it. Hi, I'm here with Matt at Eddsworld. How are you, sir? You've got your panel coming up very soon. Did you have one yesterday at all?
I did not have a panel yesterday, but I do have a panel coming up obviously at 11 a.m. It's really fun because we don't really have any plans.
Okay.
That's happened a couple of times, and it's always fun to see how those turn out.
Eddsworld's quite well known, though. I guess you must have quite a large crowd come in.
Yeah, it's definitely grown over the years. I mean, in March, actually it was just in March, we hit 1 million subscribers. So we're very proud of that. It means we don't have the need to push subscribers, because once you hit 1 million, you kind of just snowball, which sounds arrogant to say, but it's statistics and all that other rubbish. But yeah.
Obviously a very well-known UK animated series, building on the legacy of the great Ed Gould, who unfortunately passed away. Unfortunately, I never had the pleasure of meeting, but it must be quite an emotional attachment you have to the show.
Yeah, I think originally, the first year without Ed was very difficult. There was many points where I didn't want to be involved. I didn't want to come to these conventions, at least. I didn't feel like ready to do that. And it is very emotionally difficult trying to separate yourself in terms of the characters and the show and our friend. So yeah, it was difficult, and I think previous people who've been involved in the show and now stepped down, they hadn't had time to heal, and they were just seeing it like non-stop. And I've taken up as showrunner recently, and just thinking about it and seeing a lot of the messages and trying to contact people and get through to people, it's already quite heavy going, but I've got to sometimes remind myself that, got to learn how to separate that. So
And you've got to make comedy as well, which you've got to be funny
yeah,
on top of all of that.
Yeah, it's that can be quite difficult as well. Like, we're talking about being all smiley and happy and nice and everything, and then someone can come over, and it's been 4.5 years, and someone will come over and say, "I'm sorry about Ed. I guess I'm sorry he died." Some of the wording's not always quite, correct, or they don't know how to put it. And I know they mean well, but sometimes it can hit you off guard and go, "And now can we take a selfie?" Like, I might not be in a smiley mood after hearing that,
Yeah.
but sometimes you just got to go with it. So it all comes from a place of love. I understand that. So yeah.
And how long has the show been on? It's 2004, I want to say?
2003 in its probably basic form. About 2003. So 13 years, going strong.
It's kind of your life now, I suppose.
It is now that I'm basically we got to the end, and then the family were going to take over, and they wanted to keep it going, but it was they weren't really sure what to do. So I said I'd keep going with them and help them keep going, because I wanted to keep it going, and I wanted to have a couple of other ideas that I think we wanted to do as well together. And it has become my life very recently, because I want to make sure that if I do choose to leave, that the family, and if they choose to keep going as well in Ed's honour, that they know what they're doing. Because before, they've not been terribly closely involved. And it's very clear to me that it's important that they know what's going on, because if it goes on without them know what they're doing, then we could lose the kind of the same feel it used to have. So got to be prepared, and as a result, I'm going a little nuts, writing like style guides and authenticating, even just like how we do the right brand messaging, and really boring administration stuff. But as a whole, will make it look and feel like the Eddsworld people know and love. They just don't have to know about the boring stuff behind the scenes.
So, brief, probably should have asked this first. For anyone that doesn't know, give us your pitch of the show, or pitch of the channel.
What I try and tell people is Eddsworld is about 3 friends who are all idiots that get into adventures by accident. And they look at the adventures more as an inconvenience. It's not like they do it, going, yeah, we're having an adventure. It's just more like something slightly goes wrong. And they're like, oh, I guess. They just kind of go with it.
So the animation style's obviously evolved quite a lot over the years. Are you directly involved in that, or do you have...
I did a couple of bits of in-betweening way back when Ed was doing it. What happened with the animation style particularly was, obviously Ed passed away and he was the animator. So as it evolved in terms of the actual evolution of the show in Legacy, what we asked the animators to do was to bring their own flair to it. So it was more like they were doing their version of it. So they had their style with each animation. And when we got to the last episode, we asked them to copy Ed's style, because Tom wanted saw a video where Ed was talking about he would love to do, like, if you didn't do a last episode, what would you do? Get a load of people to do a little bit of Eddsworld each. All of his friends are animators. So that was the process for that. And then obviously Tom saw that as his way of, giving a good proper goodbye to the show, and obviously then he stepped away.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So yeah, but other than that, I think Ed's animation got way better up until obviously he passed away.
So in terms of Vidfest, how many years is this?
Vidfest? Well, we've been coming since Vidfest wasn't here.
Oh wow.
I think we, not to be big-headed about it, I think we basically invented Vidfest, and someone decided to say, you're with Vidfest now. Because we'd been coming for a few years before Vidfest turned up. We were like, yeah, you're with the internet guys now. It's like, oh, okay, thanks, I guess. But yeah, 6 years, maybe, just MCM in general.
Just in general.
Twice a year, knackered. And then before then, we used to do this small one called the Mini Webcomics convention, like at some uni, St. Catherine's or something like that, which I think has since been cancelled. It's a lot of our friends who come here, we met at that convention, so we just kind of all travel over together. Really funny.
How have you seen it evolve itself? Because it's quite, even from last year when I was here, I missed May, but even from last year, it's quite
it's that thing where the crowds have gotten bigger and the halls have gotten bigger. I remember when this was one hall, this one size. For those of you who don't know who are listening, we've got a North Hall and a South Hall now. And the South Hall used to be, when they extended initially, was just one extra block. Now it's exactly the same size as the North Hall. And people are talking about spending the day in the North Hall and then the next day in the South Hall so they can see everything. And I understand that. But you start then, from a marketing point of view, thinning out the money people have to spend, because there's so much more to see. Not everyone's going to make the same profit as they would in general. And then there's only so many people you can actually let into the venue and manage and control, and it's huge. I mean, I love the fact that so many people are coming down to these conventions, but I do feel you get a bit of repetition with a lot of the vendors.
Right.
In terms of, like, you know, some of the shirts and the plushies you see, like you'll walk 10 feet and see the exact same stall. It's like Starbucks.
It becomes a bit of a marketplace after all.
It's turned into more of a marketplace, and it's such a shame that comics. I mean, I'm standing opposite somewhere where I've not seen this before for quite a while, for quite a few years, where someone's actually selling comics, and it is primarily comic convention. And Artist Alley used to be a huge part of this as well, and they kind of seem to get relegated each year to the corners and further away.
Yeah, I haven't been in the South Hall yet, but I'm wondering actually where that is, because that was right near Vidfest.
I haven't found it yet.
Oh, right.
I haven't had the ability to see. One of my friends, Andy Clift, who draws a couple of comics, like Bertie Bear. It's like this action bear with an eye patch, like a teddy bear who goes on adventures like Indiana Jones. It's great. Yeah, he's there every year, and I love the atmosphere of going down there each year. But I feel like there should be a bigger focus on it because it's comics. I mean, we normally have a comic book for sale as well, which is one of the reasons why we came here, because the comic was popular when Ed originally started coming here. And we'd like to get that back again. We'd like to get the comic back going because really this is a Comic-Con. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Really awesome. Well, let's wrap up. Where can people find you?
They can find me at Vidfest. I believe there's a massive sign with a kind of a teddy bear and a red play button on it. Vidfest kind of banner.
That's true.
We're stall number 3785 or something like that. Something like that. We're opposite Wild Seed Studios, which that's easy. We've got a massive sign saying Eddsworld. We're near N4. Find us.
How about online?
Oh, online? Yeah. That would make more sense.
That would make more sense.
That would make more sense. Should have corrected me earlier. Just
you had a flow. I didn't want to interrupt.
Google Eddsworld. If you'd like to find us online, just Google Eddsworld.
And you're on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter.
YouTube, Facebook, Twitter.
All on
not
Eddsworld.
Instagram. Someone took that. We're trying to get that.
Oh, really?
And we're working on the website again. It's just not quite ready yet.
Okay. That's Ed with a double D.
Ed with a double D.
Realise.
Eddsworld, all one word.
Excellent work. All right, fantastic. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
Yes.
So there you have it. You can get some cartoon comedy goodness from Eddsworld. Next, we're going to talk to London Small YouTubers. They are a networking group, essentially, of people who want to be YouTubers, or people who are YouTubers, but it's difficult to make content. So you need people to motivate you and people to work with, and people to just kind of like-minded people who need to work together, and that's what the London Small YouTubers are promoting. They can explain it better themselves, but here we have the London Small YouTubers. I'm here with Elena and Will for London Small YouTubers.
Hello.
How are you? Having a good convention?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is new last year, I believe you opened. Have you been to, is this your first Vidfest as London Small YouTubers? Or?
Yes, as
Yes.
a group.
First
yeah.
one to be actually here as a group, because last time we existed on October 4th,
Yes.
2015, so it's a bit
Yeah.
too soon, I think, to come
We're
on.
only a year old as a group, basically.
We're a little baby.
Yeah.
How are you finding it?
Good. Well, at the conventions, it's very busy. There are lots of people here.
And you were saying how different it was, because last time you came as sort of a
Yeah,
viewer, right?
I came last year as a viewer, kind of thing, and it was a lot smaller Vidfest. I don't know if you were here last year,
Yeah.
but it seemed a lot smaller. It was like one little corridor, like in the corner somewhere, and there weren't many people. Whereas it's so busy today, and like
Yeah.
loads of people. But yeah.
It's been really great just to be behind the scenes of it a little bit. I mean, behind the scenes is in we have a stand, but
I was going to say.
it just gives a different impression rather than just walking around aimlessly. And we get to talk to more people, I think, as well. It's not. I've done a London Expo before where it was a stop, take a photo of someone and you move on and you don't find out anything about them. But just because of the nature of our group, we want to find out more about them, about their channels, and that kind of thing, and it kind of reveals a lot about themselves.
Yeah.
So we've
You get
talked to a lot
meet
more
lots of people.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear about London's more YouTubers. Give us the pitch, the
Go,
elevator
give it the
pitch, as
pitch.
it were.
Given the pitch, here's the spiel. Okay, so, well, I moved from Mississippi to London last year, and having lived in Mississippi, didn't know any YouTubers, just online, and once I'd been to Playlist, I thought, oh, I'd really like to know people in person.
Yeah.
Came to London, was like, I'm going to join absolutely everything, it's all going to be amazing, and then there was nothing really here for me. So there was like the YouTube space, but you had to have a certain number of subscribers to go to things,
Yeah.
and there wasn't just a meetup community. So that's why I created London Small YouTubers, and it means that people of varying channel sizes can get together. We do like offline meetups once every 2 weeks. We do workshops, we do competitions, we do socials, and it just gets people together. We feel more motivated to do something, and then we can be online constantly with each other. You know, I need a cameraman for Saturday, I don't know how to edit this, and you get proper answers as well, which is just really nice. It's such a supportive place to be.
So does everyone in your group have their own YouTube channel itself?
Yeah,
or?
yeah. It's kind of, there are very few requirements to get into the group. It's basically you need to have a YouTube channel, you need to be roughly in London, and
Need to have uploaded fairly recently as well,
Yeah.
because we want like actual active creators
Yeah.
who are currently doing it, because if you've uploaded a vlog from 6 years ago, it's a very different market these days, and it can be even more motivating. So yeah.
It's a very expanding market. So it's a very, I mean, it's very big in America, but here it feels like we're just on the cusp of it exploding.
there is so many UK YouTubers, but there's not many YouTube communities. So there is about 10,000. So I was talking to a person at the YouTube space, and he said there are currently 10,000 people in the UK eligible to go to the YouTube space, which is over 1,000. So like there are lots of YouTubers, but there aren't many communities to like meet and get to see who they are,
Yeah.
and it's quite hard to find them on the platform. So
Yeah.
Also, YouTube
Yeah.
itself doesn't really facilitate you finding a smaller YouTuber.
Exactly, yeah.
They tend to show suggested videos of content that they find more interesting to watch, because they know that you'll actually have, you know, you'll pay attention to it. So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a shame.
We're being told to get out or something.
pause.
You got
Not
to
us,
leave.
we're okay.
Leave now. What are you still doing here? Go home, people. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so how did you begin? Because this is your brainchild, as you say. Where did you start in your creativity?
So with my YouTube channel itself, I started because I had a summer where I was living on my own in Mississippi. Didn't have a lot of people there because I was doing my masters, and so people had gone home. So I thought, well, this is something I've watched regularly for years, and then they like rolled out the YouTube partnership program to anyone, and I got a YouTube notification saying, would you like to be a partner? I was like, sure, why not? And so I uploaded my first video like in that week, which is still my most successful video,
Really?
which is such a pain because I knew nothing about lighting, about camera work, about anything at all. So it's my worst quality, although it's still quite a good video. But since then, I just kept making more, met more people online, decided to go to Playlist to meet them in person, and then moving back to London, I was like, yes, I want to get to know more creators. And through this, like, we have 400 members, over 400 members now,
Loads of
and of those, I meet almost every single one of them. I, know lots of them, know lots of more channels now, have just, it's a wealth of information out there and a wealth of entertainment. So it's been amazing.
And what sort of content do the two of you make? What's your passion? Ooh. It leant on the table. I just saw it wobbling in front of my face. So what sort of content do you make? Are you comedy, genre, what web series things? What would you like to make?
So I make kind of like vlogs and getting into short films and that kind of thing. I've been on YouTube for about 10 years. Basically, I started watching the British YouTubers like Charlie Is So Cool, and the big people like that, and then wanted to be a YouTuber, so started making YouTube videos. And now I've been making it so long, I don't know, I just make whatever I fancy making, basically. Any sort of creative content.
Here's amazing videos. They're really entertaining.
Yeah,
a really good Disney one, so go to Will Khan and
Yes.
find out his Disney video.
Spawn, thanks for that.
You're welcome. I make videos that recently, they were sort of travel videos in the past, but recently I've made videos because I don't want people to live vicariously like I always did. I always watch YouTube videos thinking I'm never going to do this. So I would just watch it and enjoy it that way. Whereas I think people should be able to watch it and watch something that they're interested in doing, they might be too nervous about, find out more about it through YouTube, and then actually go out and do it themselves. So that's what I hope to do by interviewing people who have interesting jobs, and going and doing experiences that are interesting as well, and hopefully show people, it's possible to do something yourself. I mean, that's what London Small YouTubers is.
Yeah.
I could have just gone, oh, there's a gap in the market here, I'll wait for someone else to create it, but I didn't. I decided to make it myself. So I'm trying and pass along that message.
So what's the future? Where do you ultimately want to be?
Ultimately, it's quite a hard question. It's like, what do you want to do in your life?
Yeah.
I guess.
What's your 5-year plan, Will?
In terms of LSY, I guess just to grow it and kind of, I have a theory that YouTube is full of different community bubbles that don't really interact. Like Sermon in the City, a lot of people think that is UK YouTube, when in reality it's a tiny little pocket of YouTube that misses out a lot of people.
Thank you.
But yeah, and I forget my point of view. Yeah, I'd like to kind of, I suppose, for the LSY to grow it more and make the YouTube community a thing, because people talk about it, but it doesn't seem to actually be like a concrete thing.
Yeah, Will's our community strategist, so he's got his
I don't know what
finger
that
on the pulse of this. Well,
Yes.
just exactly what you were saying. You're going to try and connect all the communities.
Connects people. So,
Obviously, we've been talking to a lot of web series creators, and there is a general buzz, just in general, of television is slowly moving online. People
totally, yeah.
much more happy to watch Netflix at their leisure and things like that. And so there is this gradual movement to YouTube, especially being taken more seriously and everything else. And entertainment is entertainment at the end of the day. There's no more valid matter regardless of how much money or whatever it costs. So I guess what I'm asking is do you see yourselves? How do you see yourselves as creators, as in that world?
Yeah, I see what you mean. So I've recently got into the film industry. I got my first job on like a feature film with like filmmakers, and I never understood. Well, I now understand why YouTube is such a like almost exclusive thing to a certain type of people, in terms of why all these people with loads of money that make film and TVs aren't on YouTube, because they genuinely don't understand that you do not need a camera crew of 40 people to make an engaging piece of content anymore. And it's just, that's the mindset of that kind of people in the industry. And as you say, it's changing and going online. But I feel like at some point in the next 10 years, like all those people with all the money in Hollywood and in like Pinewood are going to realize quite how cheap and easy it is to kind of attack YouTube.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've just got to be braced for when that hits.
I think so. I mean, yesterday we had a panel for the London Small YouTubers where the YouTube executive and digital producer for BBC Worldwide was one of the panelists, and he does the like natural history and Planet Earth, Doctor Who and Top Gear episodes, but he does the YouTube side of that, so he posts the clips and decides what would work for a YouTube audience. And so they are slowly starting to realize and start to think, not only that we can just shove our content online for people to watch later, what do the YouTube community, like the viewers, what would they actually want to watch? Because it's a little bit different to what they don't want to see really TV in there. They've got Netflix and they've got these other things. On YouTube you want something a little bit different.
Yeah. But so I think ultimately it's a good thing regardless, because it's always me.
She doesn't like you.
She doesn't like you at all.
She doesn't like you.
There we go. I think ultimately no, that's it. We're done. There we go. Yeah, I think ultimately just good content will like win over, because now anyone can get a camera and like film and like or get a good microphone and make a podcast. So like only the amazing ones kind of rise to the top. And I think that's a good thing, because even though these people with lots of money can come onto the platform, at least at the minute on YouTube it's still supposedly even. Everyone hits the upload button regardless of whether they're Jimmy Kimmel in America or like Elena sat next to me.
Thanks. Yeah, you can't just throw money at it from a big, like McDonald's had Channel Us. They tried to do Channel Us and they threw money at that as well, and it just didn't succeed, you know.
Yeah.
So it's content driven and personality driven. So if you haven't got that, you haven't tapped into the right market.
So that way it's good.
I remember there being some uproar when Oprah got a YouTube channel, didn't she? And people were like, no, get off. You've got a TV show. Do that.
Yeah, a lot of them are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
They're just crying. They like try and come and tap YouTube because it's kind of easy, but
yeah, I think that's what they assume though. I think TV, film, whatever, they assume it'll be an easy market to tap and it will just drive viewers to their other stuff.
But in the same way, like I certainly recognise that like YouTube is not the be all and end all. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. Look at Vine. Like all the Viners yesterday, they were closing Vine, and they're like, no, they could close YouTube tomorrow. I'm just gonna leave. Yeah,
She's very concerned about our safe journey home.
she is. That's what she wants. Goodbye. Yeah.
Thanks, lady.
Yeah, no, I know. I understand what you're saying. It can often feel like, I mean, I work in film as a sound recordist, and films do cost a lot of money. I've seen it happen. But yeah, when a film costs $100 million, sometimes it feels like it only costs that so that other people can't make it. It's like, this is what a film costs, so keep out, you
Exactly.
tiny people.
Like, yeah, I'm in like the money side of the film that I'm on now, and like the amount of money that it costs to do this thing, and then I say like with brand deals, with a certain type of YouTube, like the flat rate could be like £10,000 from a brand deal just to make one YouTube video, and that kind of money is just crazy. But like, I feel like the film people, like they can't know, or they'll come crashing into YouTube, and then we'll be gone. But I don't know. Yeah.
So where can people find you online? Where can these small YouTubers or people who want to YouTube, where can they get involved?
Well, of course, being social media based, we have covered all of the social media bases.
Go.
Our primary location for the group is a Facebook group called the London Small YouTubers Network. But we do have a Facebook page for those who aren't creating or who are thinking about it but aren't sure. They can follow along, London Small YouTubers. We've also got a YouTube channel for those people who just like to watch and are interested in tips and tricks videos or just to find out what we're doing. We also make videos about our sessions, so that's London Small YouTubers. This is going to be repetitive. Instagram, London Small YT, Twitter, London Small YT. Yeah, we cover a lot of bases, but we've got a lot of great members, a lot of great content, so we just want to share it.
We should really trademark that, I feel.
Should trademark it. Let's discuss this.
Yeah.
And can you find all of your massive number of small YouTubers? Can they be found through your websites and everything else?
So you can find them on our Facebook group, but we have just launched our website, londonsmallyoutubers.com, and there is going to be a member page which will list our spotlighted members who we really feel are up and coming, really amazing content, really amazing people.
Brilliant, excellent. Okay, as part of our show, we are attempting to find the worst, this is the last question of the day, so attempting to find the worst film ever made. So I'm asking everyone for a suggestion.
Do you want to go first? I've already got mine.
No, you go first.
Okay, so my first ever worst film I've ever seen was called 10.0 Earthquake, and it was really low budget, but I don't think low budget should mean terrible writing, essentially, and it was awful. It was the scene where there are two teenagers who've gotten almost lost in this desert, and their phone is dead, and the guy says, I hear that body heat recharges a phone, we should embrace, and she's like, no, and I think she was just about to say yes, and I went, I can't watch this anymore, and I turned it off. That was a terrible film.
The worst film I've ever seen it's on Netflix actually, it's called Food Boy. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Don't know it.
It is, I don't know whether it must be a joke. It's like one of those, a bit like Sharknado or whatever it is, where it's like, it's about a boy who realizes that he can just produce food, from his hands. And it's the guy who was in High School Musical as Sharpay's brother. I can't think what his name is.
That means nothing to me.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Who
that's
knows
it.
that
The
kid
wrong
anymore?
demographic. But anyway, so he's semi-big name, but it's just the worst film. He just shoots ham all over the place. But they take it so seriously, and it's so
not
big.
a comedy.
I don't know, because it's they take it seriously, and it's quite big budget because they have a whole high school with loads of extras. And it was just so bad, and he shoots cheese everywhere, and then he's trying to do a speech, and it's awful.
The show is now closed.
The show is now closed.
That's
everyone.
our cue.
The podcast and show is now closed. I'm afraid we're going to have to leave.
Thank you very much. For talking to
Thank
us.
you.
Thanks.
There you are. So if you're a YouTuber, if you'd like to be a YouTuber, you should definitely check them out and get involved.